Oh, we are back once again with another AEW Dynamite review here on the MrWarrenHayes Show channel. I, of course, am Mr. Warren Hayes. How is everybody doing? I'm recording this on April 27. We're back to after 1 week of doing an instant reaction type of thing because I had to record in the evening because now I'm back the next day. I have let the Dynamite assimilate into my body. Last week, here's what I should have done. I should have slept on it. I should have. Look. What I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say too many things at once. I tell y'all, and I have this is not a knock on anyone who does instant reactions, but the more I progress in doing these things, in reviewing and being an influencer, the more I like to just, leave the instant reactions to others. I want to sleep on things. I want to assimilate as much as possible. I want to think about stuff. And last week's Dynamite proved that I need to continue doing that because I recorded the thing and, I didn't like what I didn't like, so on and so forth. But upon reflection the next day, waking up, thinking about the Dynamite as I was, doing the millions of things I had to do on the road, whatnot, I realized as I was thinking about it, that I hated the show more than I let on, and that I was really fed up with a bunch of things. So it's only what I'm saying is that I got it right. I for my style, for what I want to do, I need to sleep on things. I need to reflect. You don't want the Warren Hayes instant reactions. You want the well thought out, put together Warren Hayes, which is unfortunately what I didn't. Look, I'm not changing, I stand by everything I said. What I'm saying is that I think I would have been harsher the next day. I think I wouldn't have been as conciliatory as I was last Wednesday if I had done it on the Thursday. Now, I watched the show last night. There is one thing that irked me really bad, and I was in the Discord and I said, get ready tomorrow for the burial of said segment. And then I'm like, look, Warren, go to bed, sleep on it, wake up the next morning, think about it some more, put some mind into it, rewatch the thing, which I did. And I'm going to tell you, I am more than ready to bury it. There is one thing on this show that is entirely inexcusable. And look, it's coming up. But first, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Mr. Warren Hayes Show channel. It's a good time. Everyone likes being here. Hit the bell gimmick. Do all that stuff and leave a like. Honestly, this is stuff that helps out a great deal. And thank you for listening. If you're listening to this on your favorite audio, audio application, look, the listens on the audio side have been jumping recently. I'm into triple digits, which has not completely, well, not completely transparent because I'm not going to pull up my fucking analytics dashboards here, but I'm in triple digits as far as audience size, which is cool. Thank you to everyone who's joining, who's popping in on the audio side. I appreciate it and welcome. Now we're going to get into this. Look, there's quite a few things to talk about. We're going to get into this Dynamite here. I'm stoked for it. And here, spoiler alert, like this is not like, I did one review a few weeks ago where I was just angry. I was mad. The whole thing stunk and I was pissy and nothing worked for me. You remember that one? But this isn't it. I enjoyed this week's Dynamite. Spoiler alert. I enjoyed this week's Dynamite, the April 26th edition from the FLA Live Arena in Sunrise, Florida. I enjoyed it. I thought overall, look, big upgrade from last week. Big upgrade from last week. We're getting closer to the Dynamites that the format of Dynamites that I really like and that make it my favorite weekly wrestling television program. I mean, starting off straight off the bat with the workhorse of the company, Orange Cassidy, successfully defending his AEW International title against Bandido. There you go. That's a way to get WarrenHayes into your show. Already with a couple of stars on the ratings scale, like easy, by starting off with a match like this, right? Yeah, it was very good. Match of the night for me, like straight off the bat. I don't think anything remotely came close. This was very entertaining. Wrestled very much in the Skida style, which Excalibur was putting over. Skida is indeed like one of the legends. I think the word he used was maestro, and I like that. I'm going to reuse that. One of the maestros of Lucha Libre, who's trained a lot of people, and who is, if he hasn't trained them, he's influenced tons of others, like Orange Cassidy. Bandido trained under him. So the style of match that they worked here was one that Skida did very much so put forward, with a. It was absolutely a Skida style match that they were wrestling, is what I'm trying to say. Slow feeling out process, lots of locks, submissions, and then they hit the gears, right? And this was great. Bandido getting the crowd into this big time with that, of course, his stalling suplex. This incredible deadlift superplex that he does like with one arm, right? He's on the turnbuckle ropes and he's pulling Orange Cassidy into a suplex from the apron. Just fantastic stuff. And then that wild one-arm gorilla press, right? And Shivani earlier, like in the commentary, he was saying, this Bandido kid, he's very, he said he's deceptively strong. You got that right, pal. This was a great showing of that. Final third of this match was fantastic. Orange Cassidy tries the mousetrap. Bandido escapes. But Bandido pops up Orange Cassidy, who comes down with an orange punch and lands a beach break for the win. They're still telling the story with the hand, with the Orange Cassidy's injured hand, which I think is cool, and will eventually pay off with a heel winning the title. Like I think whoever Cassidy is going to be fighting at Double or Nothing is probably going to score a loss for the guy, because he can't put away anyone with orange punches anymore. They told that story I think it was at Collision in Philadelphia, where Orange Cassidy fought Gabriel Kidd for the international title, and Cassidy was still selling the hand. That was still part of the story. Can't put Gabriel Kidd away with the orange punch. So that's going to come into effect. And look at the extra little wrinkle they added here. The mousetrap might not be effective anymore because now people are expecting it. He's been pulling it out a couple of times. Bandido was able to weasel his way out of it. So that will probably come into play moving forward. So Cassidy is in a bad spot right now because, as they mentioned, this was like defense number 20, successful defense number 20. Which of course is tremendous, and it's a milestone in and about itself, but it's also significant that he's being worn down. He's been defending this title pretty much every week. If it's not on AEW, he's doing it in New Japan at this point. So it's just, look, it's fantastic stuff. It is low key one of the great wrestling stories happening right now, that's been simmering, and it hasn't been driven down our throats either. But if you've been paying attention, you've been watching the show, this is a standout. This is a great angle. When I was saying last week that the AEW World Championship angle is like the third, fourth hottest from the top, the Cassidy thing, as understated as it is a much better angle. And it's crazy when you think that the international title right now is the workhorse title. That Orange Cassidy is having a tremendous run with this. One of the most successful, compelling title runs that we've seen in AEW for, let's Let's keep the world title out of this. But I'd equate this up to Cody's run with the TNT Championship. That formative one. This has been fantastic, and it's crazy when you think that you feel this should be the TNT title's position. By the way, you should go read Brady Trappett's article on voicesofwrestling.com about the title of the article is The Identity Crisis of the TNT Championship, where he basically runs down the history and where we're at right now and where exactly the TNT title fits, and he references the All-Atlantic / International title and how much more significant it has been in regards to this. Look, it's fantastic. It's great stuff. So voicesofwrestling.com, the identity crisis of the TNT Championship. Great article by our boy Brady over there. Anyway, back to the match. I liked it. And they do the glasses at the end. Orange Cassidy's doing the glasses gimmick with a whole, he's got Bandido and Katsuyori Shibata now in his back pocket. That's fantastic. But I thought this was a very good match, very strong, lots of fun to kick things off. It worked on a bunch of levels. Again, the fact that they worked it in a very different style that a lot of people in North America are not maybe familiar with. This was great. I loved it. We get Renee backstage. She's interviewing Adam Cole, who says he's going to call out Chris Jericho later on in the evening. And if he doesn't come to the ring, well, he's going to go find him. And then Orange Cassidy and Bandido arrive. And they come in for an interview. She says, I'm sorry, we're busy right now. Orange Cassidy goes, oh. And Bandido goes, oh. Everyone wants to work with Orange Cassidy. What do you want from me? And why wouldn't you? He's over as hell. He's on TV every week. He's got this great run going. Look, he's a good wrestler. Why wouldn't you want to wrestle with him? There's going to be a moment, I think, that there's going to be a moment where Tony Khan, and maybe he's already had this thought, where he's not going to be able to keep Cassidy on the undercard for long, and he's going to have to pull the trigger proper. And be like, well, look, because the slightest little extra push into a main event situation that this guy gets pushed into is going to win with the fans. Darby, Allin, and Jack Perry are backstage with Renee again. Darby is says he's talking about the promo off from last week. Says there's a lot of shit that they said to each other last week that went too far, and they don't like each other, but they should respect each other. And had Darby known that MJF was going to cheat, he wouldn't have been up in the rafters. He would have been watching Jack Perry's back. So he's asking Jack Perry to watch his back tonight, and Jack Perry wishes him good luck, and then Darby says, he doesn't outright say, yeah, I got your back, but he wishes him good luck. And then Darby says, it's a shame that it's not you and Sammy, because I would have beaten you. And I'm like, Darby, you have no social skills. You're just asking this guy to come and help you, to watch your back, and then in the same 90 seconds, you go from saying we should respect you, we should say nice things, but by the way, I could beat you in a heartbeat. Well, of course Jack Perry's gonna fuck this guy, right? I'd say fuck this guy. Why wouldn't you? What a weird segment. Is the idea that Darby is a social outcast and has no social skills? That could be. This all leads to look, should we just lump all of this together? Should we talk about the whole thing with the pillars now? Because, brother, I'm ready for a burial. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for a burial. Let's go. Let's do this. We'll skip ahead. Because then we get Sammy Guevara and Renee, who gets Renee's interviewing Sammy Guevara. Then MJF comes in and they're kissing, they're acting like they're best pals. They're giving gifts to each other. And this all leads to the match. The Four Pillars Tournament final match, where Sammy Guevara defeated Darby Allin by disqualification. Now here, I liked the match. I thought it was fun. Not great by any stretch of the imagination, but here's the thing. This is my problem with one of the many problems I have with this whole situation. I was ready to sit here, to come here, as I was taking notes. It's in my fucking notebook. I was ready to sit here and put over Sammy Guevara and talk about how Sammy Guevara had his fucking work boots on. He had his working boots on in his match last night on Dynamite. And I was ready to put that over. I was ready to sit here and be like, Sammy got it. Jesus Christ, this was fantastic. But no! Because the rest overshadows everything that's happened. I have to talk about the post-match and how shitty it all is. MJF was on commentary doing a fantastic job. Again, I can't put this over. But nonetheless, he runs down to the ring while the ref is distracted. He does the toss the skateboard to Darby Allin while the ref is distracted by Taya so that Sammy Guevara can then pretend that Darby struck him with the skateboard gimmick, the light cheat and steal thing. So the ref turns around and he sees this and he's like, all right, hit the bricks, Allin, you lose, disqualification. I'm like, this is fucking Paul Turner. What are we even doing? I understand referees aren't necessarily like in kayfabe, not the sharpest knives in the drawer, but holy fuck, not the crispiest of corn dogs, but Jesus Christ. So Darby gets beaten down by the heels. Jack Perry then comes in for the save. Then the heels double up on Jack Perry. They hit the bricks. They do the graphic, the Double or Nothing graphic. Sammy Guevara versus MJF at Double or Nothing. But then in the meantime, you have Tony Schiavone, who's like, wait, oh, hang on a second, guys. I'm talking to, I've got Tony Khan on it. And I'm hearing this and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. They're absolutely doing what I should have listened to most of you out there. You were right. I can't take a victory lap on this one. I'm sitting on the sidelines. I'm watching y'all go. Y'all can take your victory lap on WarrenHayes on this one. You were right. Because Tony Khan they set up the angle to make this a four-way. But listen, if it was only that, if we only had to sit through a few more weeks of build for a fucking four-way match for a world title at a pay-per-view, look, we could chalk this up to just being Warren's being a grumpy old man. But we are doing next week. There is a qualifier. Next week, Sammy and MJF are going to team up to face off Jack Perry and Darby Allin. And if Darby and Jack win, then it's a four-way. So we're getting on top of getting a four-way match at the pay-per-view, which I am completely uninterested in. We are getting a Can They Coexist match. And last week I was sitting right here and I was saying this smells more and more like WWE. We're getting more and more WWE-like angles, with the fucking opening promo and the, hey, let's make a match play and all that. And look at what we're getting here. This is the prototypical WWE Championship B-level pay-per-view angle. We're getting a Can They Coexist match leading into a fatal four-way. Let's call it a fatal four-way at Double or Nothing. I am so pissed because we're going down the exact route that I had faith we were not going to go down. Why? Because Tony Khan, when it comes to his top guys, his top titles, seldom does wrong. Seldom does not guide us down the right path. But this here, look, you can't sit here. I cannot sit here in good faith when I have a backlog of me shitting on Can They Coexist matches and sit here and say, well, this is actually very interesting because we've never seen one before. And no, here's the thing. I don't care if we've never seen a situation like this in AEW or not. I don't give a shit. There has been visible, actual evidence on television that the angles that they're doing are more and more sports entertaining. So I've been seeing this. I've been calling it out here. I've been saying, well, this was a little too sports entertaining for my taste. A little too WWE for my taste. And now we're going head in. It's not just dipping your toes in the water anymore, folks. It's not just like, oh, maybe they're doing it. No, we dove head in. We didn't even check how deep the water was before just diving head in. I was convinced, because of Tony Khan's booking patterns, I was convinced that they were building Darby, that they were teasing us with this thing between the four, but that they were building him as a contender because out of the three remaining pillars outside of MJF, Darby is the standout now. He's the guy that's just coming across as more compelling, more entertaining, more interesting. He's more over with the audience. So I was like, okay, well, they're going to build that way. But no, we're getting this fucking bullshit. And there is no other way to put it. And I had people in my Discord, of all places. And I'm joking here because, everyone's entitled to their opinion and I love everyone on the Discord. But I'm just telling me, as I was outright shitting on this last night, in the Discord, saying, well, let's see how this works out. It's interesting. The tag team matches, we'll see because, Jungle Boy and Darby, well, they have a reason to work together. That's the point. That is can they coexist thing? They don't get along. They made a point last night, they made a point to make sure we all understood that Jack Perry and Darby Allin are still at odds. They're not sudden pals. They even made a point later on in the evening to show that MJF and Sammy aren't even friends anymore. And my voice is cracking. But they made a point to show that even there's friction between these two guys as well, right? MJF going, no, you're not riding in my limo, motherfucker. So there's tension all around. This is a textbook can they coexist match given to us for years upon years by the other guys in their lazy ass booking. Now, again, if you think this is all right, if you think this is all right, you are letting yourself be blinded by the bright lights of AEW and saying, oh, well, because there has been too much evidence. There has been too much stuff moving forward for weeks now. That there's been these little droplets of WWE style storytelling that have been appearing left and right that I cannot get into. And if you think this is fine, I cannot listen to you then turn around and say, oh, WWE doing can they coexist matches, if you're supporting this. Yeah, I'm going to be consistent because I have to be consistent because I don't like it. And I see the patterns and I see the things happening. I am convinced that this is one part Tony Khan responding to the inane responses that he gets online from people who do not watch the show, who say there are no stories in AEW because they don't see WWE style storylines in AEW. So obviously there's no stories, but these are people who don't watch the show. But this is it. I'm convinced this is Tony Khan reacting to this criticism that he gets online. He is always online. He is very online. But if I want fatal four ways for my world championship, if I want can they coexist matches, there is a promotion that exists in North America that I can go and watch. And by the way, I don't watch it because I don't want this shit. I watch AEW because it is supposed to be an alternative. It is supposed to offer me something different than what the other guys are doing. So yeah, I'm mad, I'm pissed off because I don't want this. This is not what I want out of this other product that I'm watching. And I think this is a dangerous precedent. And I don't know who's behind this creative. Maybe it's TK. I've heard rumblings of something else. But I don't know who's behind it, but this stinks. And it is all reducing the interest in a world title match. Like, as it said, like, we all remember the discourse from last All Out last year, you know, with the Jon Moxley and CM Punk weird ass build. People are like, I can't be interested, I can't be bothered. I can't see how anyone would be bothered or interested by this. Now, the point is, nonetheless, this match will probably end up being great. There'll probably be there's too many talented guys in here. But I can't get excited about it, and I cannot care. Especially in the way they're building this. I don't even want to, and I was sitting this morning and I was thinking, well, look, maybe Tony Khan originally wanted a one-on-one match. And he literally just threw the pillars out there and was like, all right, guys, earn your spots. Maybe, like, that is something that I would expect from Tony Khan, Mid-South Tony. Toss some guys out there, see what the crowd reactions are like. How are they handling the pressure? And maybe the pillars, the three remaining pillars, just talked themselves out of a main event situation. Maybe he had an idea for a one-on-one, but he saw how things were going. He saw that Sammy Guevara stinks on the mic, that Jack Perry stinks on the mic, that Darby is fine, but maybe he doesn't have the confidence that he can pull off a main event. I don't know. And maybe this was Tony's plan C, plan D. It's like, okay, we'll do a Fatal 4. And if so, I still think it stinks. I was all on board for building one contender, getting one guy up there. But this is what we end up with. No. Do not make any bones about it. This stinks. It reeks of sports entertainment. I cannot support it. It's bad. I have a note right here. You know what it reads? Fuck the hell off. That is my final note in regards to this. All right, let's move back now a little bit. Get back into the chronological order of things. Jeff Jarrett defeated Dax Harwood. I thought this was a good little match. Like, they really went for a very territory-style delivery here. Because, I saw a lot of people going, oh, what the fuck is this? I saw, there were a lot of people who were unnerved by this. I thought the work was solid. I thought it was smooth. I think it might have been a little too 605 for many of the modern wrestling sensibilities. I enjoyed it. I think, Jeff Jarrett is in phenomenal shape and can still work. You're not going to get him doing, fucking planches and, corkscrews and whatnot. That's not what he's for. That's never what he was about. But this guy knows how to put a match together. This is the guy that held the Ric Flair retirement match together. This guy's a vet. This worked. Was it fun? Was it good? Great? No. But it worked. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it like an exhibition to a degree of, this, they were clearly going for a style of days past. Dax is into that stuff. I liked it. Will I remember it when it's time to do match of the year? Oh God, no. Of course not. That's fine. The finish comes when Sanjay Dutt gets involved, despite being kept away from ringside, which allows Jarrett to land the stroke on Dax for the win. I was a little surprised with the outcome too. So clearly we're heading towards, because now we have Cash, Wheeler, and Jay Lethal, I believe, on Rampage this week. So clearly we're heading into Jarrett Lethal FTR match at Double or Nothing. Then we get the Tony Khan announcement. Oh, this is going to wipe away the frustration. This is good stuff. The Tony Khan announcement was that the Owen Hart Cup is returning again this year and will be exclusively competed for in Canada. I kind of assumed, I believe we talked about it, I kind of assumed that we're going to do that, with the run of Canadian shows that are coming up after Forbidden Door. Well, including Forbidden Door, but like from that point on, I kind of felt that might be something they'd do. He put over the foundation and Dr. Martha Hart again. So everyone's on board and it's going to be in Canada. And I tell you what, I could not be happier. I got a bit of a tear in my eye. It's so nice. Look, as nice as the Owen last year was to just get a little something from Owen, have a little tidbit of Owen back. Having this competed in Canada, of course, you guys know I'm Canadian, right? It makes me feel good, and I think this is going to be an extra. It's going to be an extra special one. So this was the rundown of his announcement. The opening ceremonies, are going to be at Double or Nothing on May 28th. He also said that the finals would be held in Calgary, Alberta on July 15th. Now, this is interesting because this show was already scheduled on the tour of Canada. It was the show. It was originally supposed to be a house show, the house rules, but a house show on Saturday night at the Saddle Dome in Calgary during the Calgary Stampede. And this is the thing. When this was announced, I was a little taken aback because look, the Saddle Dome is a big venue, and I thought it was interesting that they were going to do a house show on the Saturday in Calgary during the Calgary Stampede, which is it's a big event. It's a big national event here up in Canuckinstan. I thought it was curious that it was just going to be your run-of-the-mill house show, but no. Look, it's on, well, I say but no. It hasn't been announced, but it is on a Saturday. So it's probably right on the money for this unannounced, upcoming, expected Saturday night show, which would make a lot of sense. And I could not imagine a more fitting conclusion to this tournament, to have the men's and women's tournaments, because he did say there was going to be both. He was going to have the men's and women's tournaments conclude for Owen Hart in his hometown, in Calgary, in front of an audience that are going to legitimately 100% appreciate on an entirely different level than if this was done, for instance, in Saudi Arabia. They're going to appreciate this. They're going to lap this shit up. This is going to be great. And all throughout. And because he also announced that we were going to get matches at Forbidden Door too, which makes sense. And, they made a point to emphasize it. But even when they announced it, I was like, holy shit, okay, this all connects because of Owen's connection to New Japan. So we're going to have New Japan guys, logically, compete for it as well. What a fucking great... Look, I'm going to... Here's my problem. This is the dichotomy that I'm experiencing right now because of this fucking booking situation of the world title. I have a little bit of a reservation when it comes to Tony Khan's booking now, because now I'm like, wait a second, what is going on? What is, I'm not entirely sure that he 100% does the right thing every time anymore, because now he's given me something to go, well, you've cracked the veneer. So I don't want to get too excited too quickly. Okay? But the idea of this being truly an international tournament where we're going to have, even if they could probably keep some New Japan guys over for the tour. And guys who aren't in the G1, right? Because the G1 is starting like in mid-July. So, you know, there can't be that much crossover. But, you know, a guy or two who aren't going to be scheduled in any of the blocks of the G1, they could hang around AEW and do the tour, do the Canadian tour. Right? But again, I don't want to get too excited about it because now, like, my faith has been shaken. I can't get like as instantly optimistic as I once was. Let's put it that way. But this is good news. I'm excited to see what they do with the Owen. I hope the one thing that they do differently from last year is I hope that they take more time to establish the tournament and the competitors and give time for the matches to breathe. I felt like the Owen was a little rushed last year. When you consider everything that was going on backstage, maybe, you know, but not that there's nothing going on backstage this year, but hopefully they can give this a little more time to breathe because you know what? We Canadian fans and Owen Hart fans, like I don't want to say just, but you know, wrestling fans will appreciate it. I think there is something very special about this tournament happening entirely in Canada and ending in Calgary. There has to be something big to this. Wardlow defeats Ariel Levy, just completely smushes the guy. After the match, Wardlow is now paired with Arn Anderson, which I think is good. Arn is fucking over with the crowd nonetheless and can cut these great gritty old school grandpa promos that are extremely refreshing. And he does exactly that after the match. He tells Ariel Levy to get in an ice bath and drink a 12-pack of beer to recover. He says he being Arn, he's been in this business for 40 years and he's figured out who's who in the dressing room in AEW. Says Wardlow has a future like anyone in the back and he could put AEW on his shoulders and carry the company into the next millennium. Now, that's impossible. Arn, he can't do that because none of us will be alive in the next millennium. So even if Wardlow just can't, nature is plotting against him. I know what you meant, but he's not going to be here in 2999 to usher AEW into the future, into the next millennium. Arn. And then Christian Cage comes out with Luchasaurus. They tease a confrontation, but there's none. So this is probably going to be Wardlow's opponent for Double or Nothing, which is pretty cool. But they need to, now that they've given Wardlow a squash, we need to get some Luchasaurus squashes as well. And not Luchasaurus squashes on fucking Elevation Dark or whatever, which apparently there's a rumor that they might be done with that. I don't know. I'll dig into it more. Talk about it at another occasion. RJ City's on Dynamite. But he gets destroyed by the Blackpool Combat Club. Oh well. Mox talks to the camera. He says they still have some scars to hand out. That's fine. Then we got the fucking Pillars match. Then Adam Cole got into the ring to call out Jericho. Jericho appears on the Tonytron. He says he's not coming out, but his boys are. His boys being 2.0, Daniel Garcia and Jake Hager. They get in there. Adam Cole valiantly fights them off, but doesn't. Gets overwhelmed, I should say. Orange Cassidy and Bandido run in for a save. So that's cool, but they get overwhelmed as well. And just as the situation seems its most dire and its most awful, a very familiar theme song breaks and Roderick Strong runs in for the most surprisiest debut of surprise debuts to huge reactions from the crowd. people were excited for Roderick Strong, and why wouldn't you be? He starts handing out backbreakers right and left. He hugs Adam Cole very deeply a couple of times. Bit of a standoff with Orange Cassidy because Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy do have I'm glad they acknowledged it. They do have history. But clearly Cassidy has some issues here that he's ready to work out. Whatever the situation, this is all leading to a match next week. But look, Roderick Strong is in AEW. He got the graphic. He's hired. No one reported on his contract being up. There had been reports that he had been asking for his release. Nothing had come of it. Now, look, has his contract been released? I don't know. Like maybe the news is out there and I haven't seen it, but I don't know. Was he released from his contract? Did it just run out? Was he outright fired? I don't know. But I am excited at the prospect of a Roderick Strong in AEW, and more importantly, hanging around the Ring of Honor environment as well. You know, but yeah, I've talked about it. You know, I kind of want. I think one of the things that would make Ring of Honor successful is if they do have a hard split in the roster, right? So you bring back Roderick Strong, you put him on Dynamite, you have him have these big moments. He's gonna shine in the match next week, and you can imagine how this guy's a wrestler, despite him having shitty little boots. This guy he's a pro wrestler, a wrestler's wrestler. So you can rest assured that he is chomping at the bit to get some action. So he's excited for next week. He's going to shine most likely next week. He's going to be given more than enough time to get his shit in. Have him hang around a little bit, and then I'd send him to Ring of Honor. That's his environment. And he could add so much there as being a guy whose identity is tied to Ring of Honor. I think he'd add so much there. The talent, the capacity that the pure style of wrestling, and I'm not saying pure in the pure style matches. You know, as a complete professional wrestler, he'd be perfect for this. I thought, what a great surprise. Like this, top marks. No one reported on it. Everyone seemed surprised. Good on everyone for keeping their fucking... Look, proof positive that if wrestlers just shut their fucking mouths, things don't get reported. You think, I wish wrestling journalists would not spoil the surprises. Why do you think they report this stuff? Because it's told to them, because they get their sources, they do their verifications. This isn't the journalists learning a thing and then dropping it. They're like, no, okay. And who leaks this information? The wrestlers. Look, this is how it works. And look, in this situation here, everyone kept their fucking mouths shut. No one reported it. Not Sean, not Mike, not Dave. No one. So, cut this shit out. Stop blaming the journalists. If your precious spoilers get spoiled, if your precious surprises get ruined, talk to the wrestlers. Tell them to shut the hell up sometimes. Let the reporters do their fucking jobs. I don't know why I got so pent up about that. It's weird. QTV followed that. QTV has to follow that. And and that was the worst segment to have QTV follow. Because I was so hype. I was happy. I was this pro wrestling's back, baby. And then I fucking get QTV on my screen. And I'm like, why has this not been killed yet? Why has this not gone the way of the Nightmare Family and of the Dark Order putties? Why are we still doing this shit? Because it's bad. And I'll reiterate in case it's your first time here, QTV is bad. And QT Marshall does not need this. He is exceptional at getting heat. He doesn't need this nonsense, these camera cuts, this shit that feels like an NXT skit. We don't need it. Jade Cargill successfully retained the TBS title against Taya Valkyrie. Look, folks, this was not good. This was not good. This was there. And the fact that Jade still retains is ridiculous. And clearly they're waiting for Double or Nothing, right? This is the story. I can write out the rest of this story for you. This is how it's going to go. Taya tried to beat Jade with their identical finisher, the Ride of the Valkyrie, the Land of the Valkyries, the Ride to Valhalla, whatever the fuck it's called. The Jaded, they both use the same. But since Mark Sterling wrote out the legalese and says if Taya uses the Jaded, well, she immediately gets disqualified. So Taya goes to do it, but Aubrey warns her, and then she's like, I can't do it. So she puts her down. So the story is Taya cannot beat Jade without the Ride of the Valkyries, without the Land of the Valkyries, without the Valhalla Valkyrie, whatever it's called, the Jaded. She cannot beat Jade with the Jaded. She cannot beat Jade without the Jaded. That's the story. So over the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some legal wrangling here. We're going to have some stories where Taya is going to try and probably get a match, probably against Layla Gray. And if Layla Gray loses the match, Mark Sterling is going to lift the ban off the move, and then Taya will be able to use it. And oddly enough, Taya will get it in time for Double or Nothing to challenge Jade, and Jade is going to drop the title at Double or Nothing to Taya Valkyrie. And again, a situation that, I just laid it out. I am convinced that this is how it's going to go beat for beat. Convinced. And this is already a situation where people have trouble caring. I don't have an issue with the banned finisher angle. It's been a while since we've had one of those. Of course, famously the DDT, ban the DDT campaign, right? I don't mind this. The situation that we have here goes beyond this angle. Is that I don't know who cares about this. I don't know who could possibly really be invested in anything happening at this point. I think, the Jade should have dropped the title last night, just like she should have dropped it weeks ago when Taya debuted, because no one cares about the streak. We're caring more about Orange Cassidy's defense streak right now than Jade, because we all know that most of Jade's streak has been against, geeks. No real deal competition. And it's gotten stale. And no one is really invested in it anymore. There's a common consensus that says, we got to get Jade out of this TBS title universe because it's hurting her. And I absolutely believe that it is hurting her. It's hurting her prestige. It's hurting what she's doing. I'm not saying that she's suddenly going to become a work rate monster if she starts working with the Women in the World title picture, but iron sharpens iron, right? And if she starts working with people in the ring more consistently, like Jamie Hayter, like Toni Storm, like Britt, she's going to improve. If she keeps working with, the C squad of the women, the people who are, clearly in developmental, who are spending most of their time on dark getting their reps in, she's never going to really truly improve. This whole situation, the TBS title needs a shot in the arm. I still think they should have had Taya run in and win the title. Regardless of what you think about Taya, it would have reinvigorated the whole thing. It would have given a shot in the arm. It would have made Taya a big deal, which I don't think she is right now. She's just another one that Jade has beaten, right? She's just another one of the girls, just another one on the roster. The program's continuing. Don't get me wrong, but and look, just wait for Statlander to get. Look, you can only wait so long before you start hurting the people that are on TV. I would have loved Chris Statlander to win this title off of Jade, but we got to stop with this shit. This has been going on way too long. Taya should have been made a star from the get-go. She should have been made a star from the get-go, beat Jade. It would have reinvigorated Jade because she would have been mad as hell. The streak would have been done. Who cares? No one cares about the streak. Everyone cares about Jade being a star, though, because she conducts herself, carries herself like a star. She needs to be prominent. It would have been no harm done here in creating an actual nemesis for Jade. These are fucking layups. There was a layup last night as well, and they're deciding to stick to the plan. Oh, gee willikers. Look at what's happening here. Imagine if on the flip side, Taya would have been able to defeat Jade without using her finisher. You boost Taya's prominence. You make her seem more like a complete wrestler and a threat that can pull something out of nowhere. Something that Jade wasn't expecting. Mark Sterling going like, ha ha ha, she will never be able to end this with her finisher. Well, Taya goes out and learns another one. Isn't that, and it would have been a bold choice, don't get me wrong, but tell me that wouldn't have been more compelling, that wouldn't be more interesting than waiting till Double or Nothing to get the title off of her. Who cares? Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker cut a promo. They're, talking about the Outcasts again. Just keeping that in the back of everyone's mind. Then we get a Bullet Club Gold promo for Rampage. And I'm wondering why Jay White isn't cutting live promos when I see this. He's so fucking good on the stick. I don't know why he's not out there tearing it up. And then the main event, Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita defeated the Butcher and the Blade. I thought this match was well executed, but it felt rushed. I think they were short on time. I feel it was whatever went too long, and the main event ate it. It was rushed. Convinced they were strapped for time. Takeshita here, once again, getting a lot of shine, what a lot of people wanted. Put him in the main angle, stop having him wrestle schlubs, bozos on Dark Elevation and then losing, on the main shows. Here he is, getting the pinfall victory in a big time match in a tag team with Kenny Omega. There we go. This is what we wanted, right? And I mean, clearly, Tony wants to do something with him. Gives him he had a lot of shine in this match. He put in a lot of effort, and he's inserted into the hottest angle in the company right now. Yes, it is absolutely the hottest angle in the company. The BCC Elite stuff right now. There's nothing that even comes close to touching it. It's fantastic. And then they teased the Blackpool Combat Club, trying to recruit him throughout, the match and whatnot, with Danielson on commentary. And I was like, oh, okay. Are we really going to go down this path? Thankfully not. It was a nice little aside here, a little curveball, but no, we straightened this out in the post match where the BCC gang up on Takeshita and Omega. The Bucks come out for the save. They get overwhelmed as well by the BCC because Danielson gets involved too. And Danielson then, they don't get. I'm jumping ahead here. The Bucks don't get overwhelmed just yet. They overwhelm the BCC. And Danielson has the screwdriver, but it ends up in the hands of Kenny Omega, and the Bucks are holding Jon Moxley. Takeshita's on the outside, and Danielson's like, look, go stop them. They're going to stab him. What the hell are you doing, right? And Takeshita, being the pure, kind-hearted individual that he is, his unsullied persona, goes, yes, I will do the right thing here, sir. So he runs in and puts himself between Omega and Mox, only to allow the BCC to get the upper hand and then take them all out. And then Takeshita getting stabbed in the fucking forehead with the screwdriver and doing a blade job. Lesson learned on this one. Look, no notes. This was great. Every week, a little extra wrinkle, a little extra something. Now we had Konosuke Takeshita, who got exposed to the corruption of the BCC. He can no longer see the world through his pure, loving eyes, his wide-eyed, starry gaze. He has to learn that some people can be trusted. Bryan Danielson being one of them. Probably at the top of the list at this point for him. No notes. This is great. And when Hangman comes back, because you know this is the next step here, what a fucking reaction he's going to get. Because this is all, there's that's not resolved yet. Paige and Omega still at odds. And you could see also Don Callis throughout the match. You know, he was sort of favoring Takeshita quite a bit, right? He's taking him under his wing. Like, what's this all about? It's all good shit. It's great shit. This is a fantastic angle. Match was fine. Rushed. But what a post-match. Ends in chaos, as I love them. But we are not going to end this review in chaos. We're going to wrap it up nice and tidily. Thank you everyone for listening or watching. If you're on youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes, one last chance for a like and a subscription. If you want to, I don't get angry all that often, this angry on these reviews, but when it does, there you go. If you want more of that, well, subscribe, hit the bell gimmick and do all that stuff. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast application, 5-star reviews on Spotify, 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts, and 5-star ratings on Spotify help out a great deal. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a great rest of your week, a fantastic weekend,